Gonna give him the juice today. Drop the gauntlet on that topside matchup. QingTian on the other side. Gonna need to be very either aggressive or stalwart in this one, I guess, is the options. But we have seen those top lane picks coming in the first phase. If you can get the blind there in the end. But there's still some big choices on the table here. QingTian not going to get his choice immediately. It's going to be the Ashe that has been left open.
Not gonna lie to you, the amount of times we've seen QingTian pretty much blind pick the Darius, I feel like if he sees one more melee champion on the side of RNG, he'll be very happy to insta-lock something like this. He has been much more confident in his play, and it shows not only from his picks, but the way he plays that laning phase. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this coming through.
Would love to see some comfort given to him. Also, Juice has had a little bit of troubles in the 1v1s up there in the top side. Taking advantage of that, but it is Hacker on the Zyra, so setting the tempo in the jungle.
The crowd love the
Awadi's just having so much fun.
Oh, very exciting actually. It's going to be the brand. Okay, guys, reminder, I want the support for RNG swapped onto the jungle. This is going to be a carry performance by the support of RNG in the jungle. You do have two really strong champions in terms of creating priority for the brand to play his game, and now all eyes are on Ultra Prime to see what they're going to be slamming towards the tops of the map to try and take down that priority in the push from the Renekton. Things like the Jax open mind a lot for QingTian.
Well, I expect there to be some top lane bans from RNG now that the Lucian has been picked up by Ultra Prime as an answer to Corki in mid lane. We've seen that a ton of times now as well, and it is a pick that can push and move very nicely. I want to see what the second phase is going to look like for Ultra Prime, though, in terms of the bans, because maybe you look to single out some of these pools here.
Yeah, you're looking at pretty much raw power towards the tops of the map every single time you see an AD carry like Ashe, extremely immobile. You do not have a lot of burst up front, so any stat check champions like the Misfortune will very easily take you down. Now, I'm looking at that Blitzcrank, and what it's telling me is that you are potentially going for a very squishy bot lane. Things like Kalista Renata spring to mind. Things like potentially double AD carries spring to mind as well. We've seen the Barus plus the Kalista. So the Blitzcrank banner here looks a little bit sus so far.
We'll see what we get if they want to give us some more spice to add on to all the roster swaps here. But it is the Bard, finally, that will be banned away as Ultra Prime's last ban. So they didn't use that counter pick against the top side just yet. That'll be a heavy focus in the second phase for them. But it is the Rel final ban. So 4 support bans for RNG.
Let's see, there is still the likes of Alistar that remains. Brom, extremely strong, together with Ashe down the ball lane, the Failure duo. You can block a bunch of the damage coming in from the Corki and the Brand later on in the fights. However, you do not know what kind of AD carry plus support is still in for RNG. So I think like Ezreal Karma would absolutely wreck a Brom lane. So they're just gonna go easy. QingTian this time around are for Cassante, very safe.
Might as well, right? And you can play the lane pretty safe, but also you have a lot of team fight impact later on, especially against more squishy characters like RNG have set up for themselves so far. The Ezreal to add to that poke in the long range is going to be RNG's choice.
Only played once this season by Huanfeng is 100% win rate, and I mean, this means a lot. There you go. This is why the Blitzcrank ban came through. Double squishy bot lane, Tangyuan. Of course, coming from the mid lane over to the support role. Very used to playing these types of champions with those supports. Had to learn how to play Nico in the previous season as well. And I feel like the bomb is going to come through right here. Now, I'm looking at the side of Ultra Prime, and they're a very defensive build team. Anyone who wants to dive into them, they're more than happy with. They create space with Desire, they create space with the Brom. They're fantastic when you chase them through choke points. Yeah. However, RNG, they don't necessarily have a decisive go button. They've got a bunch of champions that do damage. They've got range and they've got damage. RNG are going to have to figure out a way to pull apart Ultra Prime because they're so squishy.
Royal never give up, never what, I guess. You just go with all of the heavy focus damage comps, and maybe it'll be enough. It's the double-edged sword. But really, it is going to be a lot of the setup from Tangyuan as his Nico, obviously, having been seen in the past in mid lane, but now is going to have a lot of say in RNG can really get any kind of engages kicked off here. I think on the other side, Juice is going to have a massive role as really the only frontliner along Tangyuan. And it feels like Ultra Prime have game one for the picking here, Trouble.
Yeah, and for RNG, I feel like this is the second time we see a team play 5 carries all over the board. I think it was Weibo Gaming that did this early on with a pack down the bot lane. It is very hard to pilot on the Rift. However, if you get ahead in the early game, you can very easily snowball through the raw numbers of damage on the team. And RNG have more than enough tools to do this here.
We're getting into game one now. Our appetizer for the day kicking off here in Shanghai. It's a very different Royal Never Give Up. Longtime fans might be scratching their head here, but they're trying to find a new era for this roster, and right now it involves making sure placeholders are there. Ultra Prime on the other side, though, they have a real opportunity to step up and grab a win here in this group Nirvana matchup. Game one kicks off now. Quick, easy, to the point. Got some nice gyros there. But as we get into level one, I do want to talk a little bit more about this jungle setup, because we have seen the Zyras very willing to kind of be more passive early on. There is opportunities for the brand to be very aggressive as well into that matchup. But Iwandi going to have a lot on his plate here on the brand setup for the team.
I'm sure a lot of people will also be very familiar with things that Shaco does, and Zyra is very similar to your typical solo queue Shaco. You want to be stacking those plants at your red buff. Therefore, the opponent team always knows that the Zyra will be standing still, trying to spawn as many seeds as possible to try and assist taking down the buff as quickly as you can. Therefore, that's why RNG knew that they were safe to sort of move into the jungle, because you're basically -1 body for Ultra Prime, as Zyra has to sit around that camp to spawn.
And priority in mid lane is going to be super important for both these two junglers to keep an eye on, as well as we see early trades going down. This is as is with the Lucian pick into the Corki, and honestly been a setup, a 1v1 that I've really liked.
I actually love the Lucian into the Corki, primarily because a lot of the poke early on from the Corki, especially when you're playing against ranged champions, comes from your Q. Lucian is one of those champions that is so slippery that you can actually E through the Q of the Corki and take a very, very favorable trade. So Yuekai definitely having the upper hand in this laning phase.
And it's so funny, you talk about Yuekai a little bit as we see invades actually being pulled off on the bot side. He is also, actually his first outing was with RNG as a Royal Club member all the way back in 2019 when he first started out. So pretty cool to see. But now Hacker, with that invade I talked about, going to actually push Iwandi out of his side of the jungle. Doesn't look like he wants to continue that, though.
And the HP levels are super low for Iwandi. I feel like Hacker actually contemplated maybe staying for that red buff. However, RNG's bot lane having all that pressure down bot, it gets a little bit dangerous, because they can definitely dip back into the jungle and try to help Iwandi reclaim the territory that was once his, and it would still be his, at least for the time being. However, Hacker, again, exerting the pressure. You are the jungler on the Rift, and why I'm saying this again, if you guys are just tuning in, Iwandi, support for RNG. A little bit of a shuffle, ends up in the jungle, and now with the brand, nice trade right there.
Taking a couple extra turret shots there, Juice. Be re-evaluating the range of that turret. But as we do look back to the setup here, and for that singular jungler that's on the Rift here for Hacker, he's consistently hovering around this bot side, which I think can be really big, but the pass will be leading up towards these mid lanes now.
Iwandi's going to be spotted there as well, and Hacker is going to be pretty much sprinting through that mid lane towards the top side of the map. Reminder that here Iwandi is 2 camps down. He's not killed his crab, sorry. He's not killed them. He's going there right now, and he's also lost his chickens to Hacker. So this is a +1 for Hacker +2 scuttle crabs. This Sarah is going to be strong really quickly. Again, these type of champions that we're talking about that are AP and they do a lot of damage, they require a lot of farm. So for Hacker to be able to take that one camp away, get back onto the map with Fated Ashes over an amplifying tome is extremely insane, because this means his speed is actually amplified so much more than that tone onto I1D.
Yeah, and Brand's clear speed will pick up a lot as well as he gets a little bit further on, but it's really that double-edged sword of trying to, I guess that's the theme today, trying to find a way to either be a little bit aggressive against Hacker's pathing and try to find a way to stop him, or just, you know, put your head down and farm away until you can try to match around these big neutral objectives, which, speaking of, we have Dragon coming up and Grubs in about a minute. Both these jungles love the Grubs setup. So actually we see both of them heading down towards Dragon.
They do have a lot of area as well, especially Brand really chews through those Void Grubs. However, if you're looking in terms of CS, because that Fated Ashes came through from Hacker's Scuttle Crab, the extra camp that he took away from I1D, he has cleared that jungle so quickly. He's already cleared the entirety of the second spawn, and Hacker is about double the camps up from I1D. That means that the levels are coming through much faster, level 5 to level 4, and there is some sort of lead on the map for the jungle right here. Now, both of these junglers love peeling backwards. This is what they do. However, the plants do give an opportunity to I1D on the Brand to be able to exert more pressure, especially after level 6, bouncing them off into Ultra Prime.
As we see here, Hacker was taking advantage of the map state to take the first Dragon for Ultra Prime. It will be on vision, because the Grubs will be spotted up and started on the other side for RNG. But nothing else going to come of it here, and RNG will actually get a neutral objective. Look, let's go, I1D! He's able to get a little bit of pathing advantage there, and maybe not the CS department, but he's able to keep that advantage.
Round of applause. His first neutral objective as a jungler.
Let's go.
Mazel. All 3 Void Grubs, and he's looking towards the top of the map. Ooh.
That's a lot of burst damage right there, Niket. You gotta be a little careful. They do have a lot of damage back in the 3v2 down here. Tangyuan not gonna be having his Pop Blossom just yet. Level 6s, honestly, for RNG, help them a ton moving forward to kind of stop any of this aggressive move.
Ooh, I'm just looking at the top of the map right here because I1D is taking his revenge arc right here, stealing away that red buff. He can path towards the top side of the map. QingTian's Cassante is pinned underneath the tower, which means you cannot move away to try and scout for your jungler. Hacker is just gonna find some Krags down that bot lane and take those away. However, I1D, slowly but surely, he keeps creeping in a little bit more gold. Trying to look for potentially a top lane dive. It didn't work. However, he's going to still 2 camps away from Hacker. Now it's 2 and 2 on the stolen camps for both his junglers.
Isn't Zyro wonderful? You don't even need to be in front of the camp. You can just do it from wherever. It's fine.
Don't worry, man. It's getting nerfed too. Ish. Ish.
We'll see. I will remain a doubter until then. Hacker has constantly been looking down on this bot side, trying to take advantage. Huanfeng and Tangyuan. Yuekai also starting to roam down here, but I1D is around the corner. Does have Pyroclasm now.
Wait, he gets spotted?
Ooh, the uprights there. The Grasping Root's not going to connect either. Arcane Shift away from Huanfeng does get him to safety, and Ultra Prime's advances are thwarted.
Now, this is a little bit of a problem, right, for RNG and Ultra Prime, and don't be surprised if later on we see those fights pretty much going back and forth and no one's dying. There is no hard engage for any of those teams. Yuekai is going to get caught on the transition right here and take a bunch of hurt. XZ takes a tower shot as well. Took that from his boy Juice up the top side of the map while he was trading. However, yeah, don't be surprised if you see a lot of back and forth, a lot of abilities that will be missing. There are no proper press button go kind of engage tools on Ultra Prime or RNG. The only thing there is that is non-committal is the Ash Arrow, and I feel like Ultra Prime are going to be heavily relying on that to start a fight.
Yeah, I think they have that as their go button. Maybe Niket throwing his body in there. And feels honestly a little bit about the same way. You got a nice big ultimate combo from Tangyuan to set them up, and maybe Juice throws his body in there for RNG. So I think those team fights are going to be really interesting, and at this point with the pace of play, we'll see CZ get the culling to the back of the dome here, almost going down, does end up burning the flash in mid lane. Yuekai will have the advantage on that.
And again, you see that Lucian is a very short-range champion. So whilst XZ is using his E, Yuekai is not necessarily taking any trades into that because he's going to get pretty hurt. However, when that E is down for XZZ, Yuekai has been taking all of the aggressive trades into him. He knows he can dash through the Q. He knows that he can pretty much dump the entire culling onto XZ. And for his flash, Yuekai, excellent trading in this particular lane. Again, a champion that was picked into the Corki from the side of Ultra Prime to take some control. However, top side for Juice, it's not been going that bad.
Oh, concussive blows do connect. They have moved up here in front of the Grubby fight, but Juice gonna burn his flash, gets hit by the turret, still alive. Hawkshot will spot him out. He is walking over towards Hacker, but he doesn't know. He's gonna use the blast cone out. There's that control ward there, but still needs to find an exit as Hacker is looking. Iwandi is right behind here, and the Croc will be safe for now.
You know what, Mazel? I feel like PSG Doggo would have flashed this. And gotten the kill onto Juice. However, if it's a summoner spell, you take it, of course. I'm joking here.
We're growing, you know?
Yeah. With Void Grubs. With Void Grubs coming up, having that flash onto Ashe is going to be so important. You're very mobile, and even though, again, there is no hard engage for RNG, having that flash onto Nico means that you do have some sort of access into the backline. Tangyuan is going to be extremely scary, especially when you're walking through those choke points. So, again, props to Doggo for taking that flash without having to use his.
Okay, so big thing happening right now, though. Grubs have been reset. Juice headed down back towards bot side, does not have TP up yet, so Ultra Prime will just utilize this movement of the map to take the Grubs and even it up 3-3.
Yeah, there's a few levels advantages on the map. You've got Doggo on this Ashe, level 8 for Hacker as well. You did have TP onto QingTian, but you didn't have it onto Juice. So you could potentially end up outnumbered if you are RNG, especially since you put that Renekton towards the bottom map. I've really been loving how they're moving Juice around the map. He's in a favorable matchup up here. Renekton versus the Cassandra. He's got a bunch of, a couple of tower platings to the top side of the map and two towards the bottom of the map as well. So they're moving him wherever it's free to try and get that Renekton as fast as possible.
Let's take a look at this top side of the dive here already going on to XZZ. They've already pulled it off. The Stranglethorn there. Niket gonna tank up, gets the heal out there. They aren't able to get XZZ. True Shot Barrage gonna hit him from the side. And that's Huanfeng picking up a sniper kill. Now Tangyuan is not gonna hit the Pop Blossom on the back into that one. There is the dragon being taken by RNG on the other side of the map.
That's great stuff from them. They get the kill over the top side of the map. XZ survives a dive, and they stop the stacking from Ultra Prime. I felt like Ultra Prime, given priority on the Void Grabs very early on, was a very great advantage for them. You stack those dragons, then you force RNG to move into you and fight you when you've got the perfect peeling backwards composition for Ultra Prime. It's not quite the case right now. The stacking has been stopped, and XZ, the Q is going to miss from Niket, which is so important, which means that Ultra Prime have to overextend, especially Niket, to try and apply the passive, and then the rest of Ultra Prime are overextended to try and proc the passive. By that time, the TPs are being pulled. Tangyuan is already on his way up top, and the snipe goes through. Great stuff from RNG. They have found themselves in a gold lead here.
And now with first item spikes come across, got that Trinity Force completed for Huanfeng, and the Black Cleaver for Juice to get a little bit more damage on that. Now I want to see some cohesion of the team comps here as TroubleInc just looking for picks as much as possible through the jungle. And that's what this Nico pick is going to have in store for it for the rest of the game.
Tangyuan also getting that Scuttle Crab right there. 5 HP I think it survived with. However, RNG have been doing pretty well on the map. And again, in terms of power spikes right here, you're expecting to see the Trinity Force coming in through for the Corki as well. This is definitely when RNG are going to want to start taking those fights. Take advantage of the early game Renekton spike. You've got Black Cleaver, double AD carry. You benefit so much from having that extra armor pen coming through the item. And of course, Renekton benefits a lot as well, especially when you're playing into quite a squishy team with the Zyra, Lucian, and Ashe. Very mobile as well. If you can find a flank potentially with one of your champions, mainly the Renekton, you could be making a lot of damage onto that backline.
And people might be wondering, oh, What can we do with a 1 kill in 14-minute LPL game? Well, I promise you the kills are coming because both these teams very apprehensive of the early dives. But now we're going to try to see if mid-game is going to change that up a little bit. There's the all-out by QingTian to bring Juice away from the team. He's still going to take it down. Looks like it's the surrounding of Ultra Prime that will be the bane of the Croc. As it is RNG on the other side of the map, that will take a outer turret here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
That was interesting from
Really
QingTian,
wanted to try to get the kill.
Especially when everyone actually TP'd down bot lane. You saw Doggo sort of sprinting from mid lane all the way down the bot side of this river to try and get the kill. And QingTian's like, nope, he's mine, guys. I didn't want your TPs. I didn't expect any help. I didn't need any help. I got this. However, Renekton has now been shut down as well, which was one of the keys that we said into that early to mid game that we wanted to see being used from RNG. And it's not quite going to be the case. However, they're going to trade that Renekton life for a top lane tower and a Rift Herald that can very easily use to take some priority down mid lane, get some chunks of this tower, and then start taking some control towards the bot side for the next round that's coming up.
And we talked about it earlier, but I think the setup for RNG around these team fights is very good. I think the pick potential for Ultra Prime is very good. It's going to be a lot about what Ultra Prime can pull off before RNG gets set up in position. Now, you might say on the other end, Hacker needs to be set up as well. So it's going to be a lot of, I feel like, musical chairs on positioning around these objectives when they start becoming more important. But until then, Ultra Prime are a bit in the driver's seat with the Doggo Ash arrows on command.
Absolutely. If you get a pick right here, it's going to be huge. Who's the real Ezreal? Take a guess. Doggo is looking... Doggo is staring down at 3 Ezreals right now, using the W right there from Nico as well. It's going to be up to Doggo to get a pick. I feel like once that cooldown is down for Doggo, RNG will have pretty much free reign into the river. There are not many abilities that, at the moment, they're scared of. I mean, you definitely do not want to be running again into an Ultra Prime that has the ultimate peeling composition with the Zara and the Braum. However, once they do not have the pick potential onto that Ashe anymore, you could be looking for ones yourself with RNG.
The early positioning around this mid lane for both teams is they'll send their 3v3s here. The reinforcements are going to be pulled off in top side. QingTian will replace Yuekai with his bad luck. But the poke from RNG is on full display here. The reason why you grab the Corki and the Ezreal so often.
So here's the problem here. You have very late resets coming through. That means Ultra Prime is going to be able to walk into the river, take full control, place down the wards, clear out yours, ensure you still have that Rift Herald to pop down mid and sort of delay Ultra Prime from dipping back into the river, but they have so much intel already by placing their wards around that bot side of the map, and RNG have to pull TPs to try and gain some control. I'm expecting Iwandi to use that Rift Herald here to try and keep Ultra Prime busy.
A little bit of distraction, Carnifex style, as they will end up popping that one there and try to move over towards this dragon. TP is available for QingTian. He's going to be working on that outer tower up there. Right now, the focus for RNG is this mid lane, though. He's going to get the charge in, try to take this outer tower before maybe moving on to this dragon here. They will pull off as well. Ultra Prime looking to potentially contest this one. Would be second dragon for either side.
Great stuff right here from RNG. They used that they have numbers advantage. If QingTian wants to TP in, they'll take it. He will TP now. Ash arrow.
That's instantly cleansed by Huanfeng. Calling use. Tangyuan has been on the side this whole time. Look at the pop blossom. It's going to connect there. And it has found Yuekai, but it might not be enough in the rest of the fight. The all-out from QingTian going to separate XZZ for the rest of his team. Now Dragon has gone over to Iwandi. Of course it has. As Hacker might be able to get the back end of this play, but he gets taken down by Iwandi himself. Now Juice able to make it out of there alive. Doggo with a double kill on the side of Ultra Prime, but RNG, they're giving him a run for their money here.
Wait, maybe the shuffle was all they needed. Iwandi is absolutely popping off in the jungle on the brand, steals the dragon away, puts down so much damage towards the side of Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime lose pretty much everything. They lose the dragon, they lose their mid lane tower, and now it's going to be getting very scary for any of their carries moving up towards that mid side of the map to try and pressure out the waves, pushing for a little bit of priority. RNG are doing so well in this early game. They're having Ultra Prime basically run behind them on every play. And let's look at this again. That arrow does connect, but it connects on that one member that has the cleanse, which is Huanfeng here. And even though I felt like Tangyuan tried to hit more people with that ultimate, it was perfect because it separated Yuekai from anyone else, and the entirety of RNG just jumped onto him to try and kill him off. I want these stills with Dragon as well. They'll take Hacker with some great stuff coming in from RNG.
Huanfeng getting a little flash play there, but yeah, Iwandi getting in there, getting the Dragon, but also having a huge impact on this brand. We said that kind of from the get-go. Brand will have an impact. The team fights, both these two guys are going to be massive implications to watch out for. And the Hacker showing his off right now with the Stranglethorn pop there. Will end up forcing out Iwandi and the rest.
We did praise him. Ended up overextending just a tiny bit. You know, you do get overextended, especially when you complete your Leandries. You're very close to having the Rylai's. You get a little bit too excited. You've got a lot of damage on the brand. You do get to dictate how a lot of these fights go. Again, Juice is looking for the side. Doggo does have his flash.
Got the flank here, and they're going to move forward on this. So Juice has a massive flank. Tangyuan! A 4-man pop blossom! My goodness! Give this man the sticks more often. RNG find the engage.
Now that was the ultimate he was looking for in the Dragon fight, and he finally finds it in this choke point. QingTian way too late to the fight, and RNG will take yet another life. On the Rift, 1,000 gold up for the crew right now. 2 Dragons have got that mid lane tower as well. As you can see on the map, Ultra Prime picking towards the top of the map for Baron. And Ultra Prime think they get a pick right here. I mean, for sure, they grab XZ. A great route right there coming out from Zara, but a fantastic Pop Blossom from Tangyuan to pretty much lock everyone in place. It's gonna have been so disastrous. So many blinking bars afterwards.
And that's all you have to do. That is your singular job as Tangyuan. And Niket's gonna be like, wait, you can. This is supposed to be a support role. We're supposed to be playing engaged supports, but Tangyuan, he found the engages. He's found the flanks, and that has been, you know, a trademark of the Nico mids, but also when Tangyuan plays it up in the time. So RNG flexing their muscles a little bit with all the changes they've made, but Ultra Prime, a stalwart composition in their own right, are going to be very tough to handle if they don't find these little picks.
I feel like the consequences of the previous fight are more important for Ultra Prime. Doggo has lost his flash, Niket no flash. You got no flash onto Hacker either, so 2 of your carries and one of the members that usually tends to overextend a little bit when you have the prompt to try and block a lot of those poke abilities coming through from RNG. None of them has any flash, so RNG could potentially be looking for one of those 3 targets that are actually summonerless right now to try and pick them off the map. I feel like RNG have been doing great so far in taking somebody off. However, it hasn't necessarily resulted in too much other than the Dragon of that one tower in the mid lane that we've seen. I feel like all eyes will be on, can you take more than one person down from its team to take that Baron Juice?
A lot of trouble because it's going to get a lot more difficult to run away. They will not have the damage to put him down, as the Dominus did get popped there, so at least you have that ultimate cooldown down. There is a Dragon coming up in about 30 seconds as well, would be some point for RNG.
And this is the perfect time for Renekton to fight as well, right? You've got your Sterex, you've got your Black Cleaver, you've got your Steel Caps. You are ready to fight. Playing against double AD carry, you've got your survivability item, you've got the armor pen item that's going to benefit your 2 carries as well that have completed the Mana Moon, and Muramana also onto Huanfeng's Ezreal. You are actually so spiked right now for RNG.
We got the clone, and a nice little pull from Tangyuan, and the poke from Huanfeng keeps going. I don't know if it's going to be enough to dissuade Ultra Prime here, but actually it might just be that. Niket going a bit of an awkward distance, but he has Braum just fine. And Ultra Prime feeling a little bit hesitant to move to the Dragon side of things. They will just try to recoup and regroup in mid.
Now here's the thing, RNG, both sides of the map, pitch black. They cannot see anything in this river. Yeah, Ultra Prime can't either. So even though RNG have given so much space because they have no vision on the both sides of the map, Ultra Prime were not interested in QingTian. Might get caught between multiple members of RNG. Is Cassante? He's out. He's fine.
They do lose a tier 2 in topside to XEZ just because of map movements, and honestly, that's huge.
RNG have been pulling Ultra Prime across the map. Again, there's a lot of lack of vision coming out from Ultra Prime. Considering you have Ashe, you've got a hawk shot. It could be used very wisely in terms of taking a little bit more of advantage on the map, which Ultra Prime have not necessarily done so far. And again, RNG have reached those item power spikes when they can literally take the fight onto Ultra Prime. There's so much pull coming in from Brand, Corki, and Ezreal. And again, once this Ashe arrow misses, this is a chance for RNG to walk a little bit more forward. However, that reset from RNG is going to cost them that second Dragon 2 apiece.
And of course, we go even. Still a couple thousand gold in advantage for RNG in general from their farm differential. But they're making a lot of presence towards topside right now, having XCZ and Huanfeng up that way, or Tangyuan, actually, rather. I think the biggest thing for RNG right now, we talked so much about the pick potential with Doggo, but Tangyuan is literally like an assassin right now, walking around the map, just always looking for the setups. And here's that setup I was just talking about, but it is on QingTian, who is not maybe the target you want to go setting up onto, and he's already down. Now Chet Arrow goes through the dead body of Tangyuan, and XCZ will be claimed by Ultra Prime. They've got to get on the defensive, though, as mid lane has been under siege. They can't get the turret yet, and now Ultra Prime, they've got a tempo play. Glacial Fissure going to be used there on a Juice, and he is locked down. You cannot run from this Freljordian combo. And QingTian's cutting down the sides, but the power class it's doing work there. Juice still alive, finally put down by Doggo, but it's gone. QingTian. Oh, it's the trade of the top laners, and now Ultra Prime, they find a little bit of life.
And Ultra Prime are not even gonna think of trying to walk into this Baron pit. Nico is back up. You've got Ezra with the poke, and of course Brand in the hands of I Wanted, that you can definitely not walk into this Baron pit. It could be your demise. However, Ultra Prime with a very quick-witted play right there. They caught RNG towards the top of the map. They pull everything, the TPs. They even pull TP to save that mid lane tier 2 tower. Again, it's not going to result into any major objectives. RNG even almost got that mid lane tier 2 right there. And as you mentioned, the assassination from Tangyuan trying to come through. Hacker has to flash away. That is a flash. The Hacker is going to be missing the next fight to come. And QingTian very close and fast to that fight. You get the TP from Yuekai as well to help right there. And then QingTian, of course, having to TP into the mid lane tower to not allow RNG to take this down. Again, RNG with the first dip into that river. Baron is the next objective you're looking at. And of course, it's not always for your eye pleasure to get that vision over Baron. If you guys are not familiar with how fast Zyra does Baron, she can pretty much destroy it in 12 seconds.
Yeah, both these teams are going to just be burning, pun intended, through these neutral objectives as well. And it feels like they both know that, right? A lot of these times, these standoffs are happening very far away from the objectives a lot of the time. And you can see some of the hesitancy between the two teams. This should have been an Ultra Prime easy victory. If you're thinking about all the roster swap, the craziness, bringing your support to be jungle here. But RNG, they've risen above it. Yes, they only have about 1,000 gold lead here, and it's going to be very hard to close out. But it's something where RNG have shown a lot more promise than maybe we expected of them.
Absolutely. Again, I feel like they have been pulling Ultra Prime across the map. I feel like in terms of macro, RNG are the better team here from the very early on. Juice has been having a pretty free lane. He's getting turret plates top lane, then that back bot lane. The second the Trinity Forces were completed for RNG, they chose to fight together with the Black Cleaver from the Renekton. I feel like RNG have been playing so well around their item power spikes, and of course being aware of Doggo's engage tool. Every time it's down, then they know to move a little bit more far forward. Yuekai is gonna cross vision.
I think he just had his life flash before his eyes there. Just gonna say, as that clone came around the corner, he's like, oh my god, I'm between the wall right here. But it is Ultra Prime using some of this movement towards mid lane to get this outer tower.
Yeah, they're gonna catch RNG on the retreat in the jungle. XZ was nowhere near. You can see Juice on the bot side of the map. Now Ultra Prime have a choice here. Do you back and try to stop the Renekton, or do you try to pull a Renekton TP, stopping the bank from QingTian right here? Means that this tower in the bot lane
take another aggressive back.
free.
It gets stopped. That's 2 stops in a row, and a tier 2 tower fell. All that extra local gold going the way of Juice, and now RNG have position around the Baron pit.
Okay, positives here. QingTian does not need to back anymore because Yuekai has got up the wave down the bot side of the map.
Still
so
wants
he can
to.
actually stay around.
Apparently, the calls are for Ultra Prime to go ahead and get their backs off here, get the resets. Doggo has completed his Bloodthirster, so 3 item spike there. Speaking of, on the other side, you have those 3 item spikes already completed for RNG as they are already back on the map as well. And we have Dragon coming up in 20 seconds.
And again, a lot of these fights will look scrappy. They'll look back and forth, the ping-pong back and forth, because both of these teams do not necessarily have correct tools to engage, if any. On the side of RNG, there isn't any, but there is so much poke with a triplet in the middle of the map for RNG. Oh,
got the catch out there. He's going to slice and dice his way to safety.
All right.
Crocodile too. And we're just getting heavy positioning around this mid lane because Ultra Prime want to have a little bit of an option to maybe force the movement of RNG around the Baron, but that's a 3-man True Shot barrage that does work.
Why is this creep?
Look at Tangyuan. This is the kind of flank he needs, though.
There is an
wild
enemy
creep.
minion infiltrating enemy base. Who could that be?
Isn't that so unfair? It's just a mid laner that would support and just got to be unlocked on the map and just do whatever. It's like your classic solo queue nightmare, like a Camille support, things like that. Just get to go be a nuisance on the map.
Absolutely.
Dragon did
In
get
the meantime,
taken.
absolutely, yeah. XZ taking that dragon, and this is the correct play, right? You take one of your 80 carries with teleport towards the bot side, you take that dragon, and if Ultra Prime threaten a Baron, you still have that TP to join. Both of these TPs so difficult to start it. Like, somebody has to misstep, someone has to make a mistake, or an Asher has to hit the right target. By right target, I mean probably I1D or XZZ, because at this point they're the only two with not necessarily a Zonius or any evasive tool like a cleanse. So you are definitely looking for Nico, I guess, for Tangyuan. However, there is a Seekers right there with an inbuilt stopwatch. So you definitely don't want Tangyuan to be the target for you. So you definitely, as Doggo, you are looking potentially at the brand or the core key for Ultra Prime to march forward.
What's up with our top laners? Just get their back stop this game. Juice and QingTian,
Okay.
you're not allowed to back.
Listen, Mazel, if they're trying to back in front of their opponents...
Which has been the case every single time.
Yes!
Hey, when you're
It's
able to blind pick Renekton in this league, top laners are ruling the kingdom, it feels like.
Do you know the meme where it's like deal, where they like handshake and it's like, you let me back now, I'll let you back later. Deal, no deal.
All right. I like that. I like that. Have to get that refashion for the LPL too. We are looking at the map state right now, and Ultra Prime have consistently been threatening this Baron side setup. They also need to be around here to get Hacker's plants going, as it's RNG that moved forward. Stranglethorn got popped as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
That is 2 huge ultimates that Ultra Prime are missing right now. You mentioned how Hacker needs to be around the Baron to set up for the plants. He needs to be very close to Baron and have a few plants already, seeds already spawning, which is not the case because they see him moving around. So the threat for the Baron is not as huge as it would be otherwise. And RNG, use the numbers advantage mid lane, take another tower. Ultra Prime, with the inability to engage those fights, are losing numbers, they're losing control over their lanes, and continuously are losing towers, which will result in a lot of loss of vision as well. RNG are slowly but surely choking Ultra Prime towards their base.
Tangyuan getting so much value out of the clones every time, it feels like. Able to block a ton of damage here, but Ultra Prime right back to the well once again. You don't have a lot of health, they're going to start it anyways.
TP is going to get called in by XZZ and
That's
Ultra
just what
Prime.
they wanted. They got the cleanse and a Huanfeng there. And this has been the play the whole time, trying to get set up. They just want to force abilities and force cooldowns out of RNG.
Oh.
I need to be very careful.
He's 7 levels up! Yuekai's level 17 and Tangyuan is level 10!
Because he's Roman! He's one with the wilds in this game.
There's no way!
True Shot Barrage. Gonna come across yet again because the cooldown is so low. And yet again, we just get a standoff in the center of town here, Trouble. And both teams stare at each other and nothing else happens.
7 levels difference between the
But
highest
he can pretend
and
to
the
be another
lowest
level. Look, see, he's level 17 right now. Does that work, right? Like,
I mean, depends. Do you want the reality of the situation or?
I'd rather be ignorant. Yeah.
I think he is as well right now. He's like, it's fine, guys, don't worry. As long as Tangyuan gets one of these huge ult that he has showed he can to peel for his team, I think it doesn't matter if he's level 10. He does have that Seekers to stay alive that little bit longer as well, to get chased away. You've got that W to be a complete nuisance. So I feel like the Nico right here is just meant to be a nuisance on the map and trying to find flanks, and that's what Tangyuan has been doing this entire time. He's off of experience again. He just got his level 11, 2 points on the ultimate, and he's moved off of experience range again.
The biggest thing is he has 2 avenues. He can either be the one to kick it off, or he can wait till it's all started and then get in there with big pop blossom, as we've seen both already in this game so far. Now, Dragon is about 35 seconds. Need to think about the posturing for this one, because it would be soul for RNG.
You see Yuekai threatening down bottom as well. He's going to take that tier 2 down the bot side of the map. He does have TP to join, but RNG are going to dip straight towards that Baron. Again, Ultra Prime do not necessarily have the correct tools to engage a fight like this, and Tangyuan has already taken complete control of the top side of the map. This one could be huge. Yuekai
is completing his back. Iwandi is the one that gets hit, and everything going to be thrown at him.
No.
Now he's just burned down to a crisp his own right. Yuekai has just solo killed everybody on the side in Huanfeng, and now you have the Baron going over to Hacker, the real jungler, and now RNG, they're scrambling, but they're getting knocked back heads. And here's Huanfeng trying to have something to say. He's going down immediately too, and the all-out in the middle of it all. QingTian kills him. A triple kill for Yuekai, and that's the Ultra Prime we were expecting.
Ultra Prime were so aware of Tangyuan, which was incredible to see. They knew that he had sneaked in through their jungle. Yuekai takes him off the map, and the death timers are too long. Ultra Prime could be looking for an end.
Oh, they are. They're going straight for it, too, with that Baron buff under toe. All they needed was one fell swoop this game that all of a sudden exploded off the back of one big engage from Ultra Prime. And the machinations of RNG are put to bed. Pyroclasm, one last desperate attempt. But it's Ultra Prime that handle it in game 1 and take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3.
What in the world happened there to RNG? It felt like they had full control of that Baron pit. Iwandi gets caught with his flash up, and then Tangyuan also gets caught with his flash up. Again, for RNG, it has been incredibly saddening to see the form, but of course, with all the players shuffled around into different roles, you're expecting obviously not the same sort of coordination as you would from Ultra Prime. However, Ultra Prime going into game number 2, they need to sit and watch a little bit of that early game and sort it out, because they were definitely getting pulled through the map by RNG.
That was a lot better than I expected RNG to come out today, and honestly, it was a pleasure to watch them push Ultra Prime through their paces. Ultra Prime do finish it out, though. We'll see if RNG can bounce back with a little bit more of a spicy draft for game number 2. We're going to be stepping away for a little break. We'll